our channel Knowledge Hub. Friends, subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon for the latest update. Today we're going to start video discussing about quantitative aptitude class. This has been the classes, your 72th classes, where we had done 71th classes here. In the 71th classes we had started with arithmetical ability. In that we had done operations on numbers, LCM and SCF of numbers, decimal fraction, simplification, averages, square roots and cube roots, problems on numbers, problems on ages, asserts and indices. And this has been the 10th topic that we had reached towards percentage. Here itself we had done 132th classes in the sessions, and that now today we'll have to start discussing about 133rd question of the session here. Before starting with this, it's a huge request to all the viewers to please go through the subscribe button and please like, share and subscribe our channel, so that many maximum people can get the information at once, and maybe you can also enjoy the video as well. So we'll start with this question here. The first question of this session is that is, if x is 90% of y, then what percent of x is y? This has been the question has been asked in your SSC examination paper, which has been the important one here. Let's go ahead for the same. If x is 90% of y, then what percent of x is y? This has been asked in SSC examination paper, which has been an important one as well, and that is what we have to even to consider about it. Let's go ahead with options here. That the question options we have 90%, 101 upon 9%. It is in mixed, 111 upon 1.9%, and then after that it will be your 190% here. So on the same cases we go ahead, that what we even do have to talk about it. We go ahead here. So solution for this is your x equals to 90 upon 100 y, which is x equals to 9 upon 10 y equals to 10 upon 9 x. So y upon x is equals to 10 upon 9. So required percentage equals to y upon x into 100%, which is equals to 10 upon 9 into 100%, and that is equals to 111 upon 9%. That will be having as an answer here. Now I'll go ahead with another question, which is being the 134th question of the session, of course. So 134th question of the session we have. Question is, x% of y is 5% of what? That has been the question here. So what we have to talk about it, x% of y is y% of, options we have x, 100x, x upon 100 and y upon 100. That is, we have to talk about it. So we'll go ahead for the session here, that is we have to find out the answer as well. So here we go ahead. X% of y is equals to x upon 100 into y, which is y equals to 100, y upon 100 into x, that is equals to y% of x, that we have answer here. Now we will go ahead with the next, and that we have to talk about it, which is your the figure that we have as an answer, and that even though we have to talk about it. We'll go ahead here. That is being another question is your that will be an important one as well, and that is being asked in your hotel management question paper, which is the 135th question of the sessions here. The question itself is that is being as follows: as your, if 20% of A equals to B, then B% of 20 is the same as, that we have find out. And this has been the question has been asked in hotel management question paper as well, so that is being important too. We have to find out for the same. Options we have 4% of A, 5% of A, 20% of A, and none of these. So we'll go ahead for the same. If 20% of A equals to B, then B percent of 20 is the same as, this has been asked in hotel management question paper here. So we'll go ahead for the same, and that what exactly we have to talk about it. So here we go ahead. 20% of A equals to B, that is 20 upon 100, A equals to B. So B percent of 20 is equals to B upon 100 into 20, 0 being cancelled by 0, and so that further it is being 20 upon 100. Now we'll not cancel it out, we'll cancel it out in the last here. That is being A into 1 upon 100 into 20, which is equals to 4 upon 100. A equals to 4% of A here, that we have as an answer. So 4% of A will be the right answer for this question as well. We'll go ahead with another question that we talk about it, which is being 136 question of the sessions as well. That's been the important one question. Question is, if x% of y is same as 4 by 5 of 80, then the value of x and y, that is, we have to find out. We'll go ahead for the same. If x% of y is the same as 4 upon 5 of 80, then the value of x by is, this is, we have to talk about it. Now the options we have here, 320, 400, 640, and none of these. So we'll go ahead for the same, and that what even we have to talk about it. So go ahead here. That is being the another question. X upon 100 into y equals to 4 upon 5 into 80. Xy equals to 64 into 100, which is equals to 6400. That will be having as an answer here. Now we'll go ahead with another one which we'll talk about it. That is being another important question as well, and that is being as follows. Is the 137th question of the session. The question is, if x% of y is 100 and y% of z is 200, then find the relation between x and z. This has been asked in SSC examination paper, which has been important one. Options we have: z is equals to x by 2, z equals to 2x, z equals to x by 4, z equals to 4x. Let's go ahead. If x% of y is 100 and y% of z is 200, then find a relation between x and that is your z. So this has been asked in your SSC examination paper. Options we have: z is equals to x by 2, z equals to 2x, z equals to x by 4, and z equals to 4x as well. So we'll go ahead for the same, and that what we aim to have to find out. So clearly y% of z equals to 2x% of y equals to yz upon 100 equals to 2xy upon 100, which is equals to z equals to 2x. That will be having as an answer here. Now we'll go ahead further, which is being equals to the another question is of course from your this is from only your SSC examination paper, which has been important one as well. So we'll go ahead for the same, and that even though we have to talk about it. So here we go ahead with 138th question of the session. If p% of p is 36, then p is equals to, which has been asked in your SSC examination paper. So with the same basis, here we go ahead with 138 question of the session here. So if p% of p is 36, then p is equal to, this has been asked in SSC examination paper. Options we have 15, 60, 600, 3600. We'll find out for the same, and that we'll find out the answers here as well. So we go ahead. p% of p equals to 36, p upon 100 into p equals to 36. P square is equals to 3600. After that, p equals to 60. So we'll get your answer as p equals to 60. That will be the right answer for this question as well, and that is the important one because this has been asked in SSC examination paper as well. We'll go ahead with 139 question of the sessions here. 139 question of the session we discuss here, which is to be as follows, and that what we even have to talk about it. So here we go ahead for the same, and in the same case for 139 question, the question is if x% of y is equals to z, what percent of z is x? This has been also asked in your SSC examination paper, which has been the important one. So we'll go ahead for the same. If x% of y is equals to z, what percent of z is x? This has been asked in SSC examination paper. The options for the same we have here: y square upon 100, y square upon 100, y upon 100 square, 100 upon y is 100 square upon y here. So for the same we'll go ahead here and find it out for this. x% of y is equals to z, x upon 100 y equals to z, x upon z is equals to 100 upon y. So required percentage equals to x upon z into 100, which is equals to 100 upon y into 100%, and that is being equals to 100 square upon y percent that we have here. Now we'll go ahead with another question, which is the 93rd, that is being the 140th question, the important one. The question is if x is 80% of y, then what percent of 2x is y? That we have to talk about it. This has been asked in CBI examination paper as well. That has been the important one. If x is 80% of y, then what percent of 2x is y? This has been asked in CBI examination paper. That has been important one. The options for this is 40%, 62 1 by 2%, 66 2 by 3%, and 80% as well. So we'll go ahead for the same, and we have to find out here. So we'll be having x equals to 80% of y is equals to x equals to 80 upon 100, y equals to y upon x is equals to 5 upon 4, y upon 2x equals to 5 upon 8. So required percentage equals to y upon 2x into 100% equals to 5 upon 8 into 100%, and that is being equals to 62 1 by 2% here. That we have as an answer. We'll go ahead with another question, which has been the important one. and that is your being 141th question of the sessions here. So the question we have as follows, that subtracting 6% of x from x is equals to multiplying x by how much? That is, we have here, we'll go ahead for the same. Subtracting 6% of x from x is equivalent to multiplying x by how much? So this is options we have 0.094, 0.94, 9.4 and 94. We have to talk about it. So we'll go ahead for the same. Let x minus 6% of x equals to xz. Then 94% of x equals to xz. 94 upon 100 x into 1 upon x equals to z. Z equals to 0.94 that we have as an answer here. Now we'll go ahead with another question, which has been 142th question of the sessions here. That has been important, of course. The question is x percent of y plus y percent of x equals to x percent of y plus y percent of x. That is being equals to the question mark here. That even we have to talk about it. So the options we have x percent of y, y percent of x, 2% of xy, and xy percent of that is your 3, which we have to talk about it. So we'll go ahead for the same. X percent of y plus y percent of x equals to x upon 100y plus y upon 100 x equals to 2xy upon 100 equals to 2% of xy that we have as an answer here. I will go ahead with another question that we have to talk about it, which is being the 100 in which has been your 143rd question of the sessions here. So for the same we'll have to talk about it. 143rd question of the session. If A is 150% of B, then B is what percent of A plus B? If A is 150% of B, then B is what percent of A plus B? So options we have 33 1 by 3%, 40%, 62 2 by 3%, and 75% we have. We'll find out for the same, which has been A equals to 150% of B, which is A equals to 150 upon 100 B. A upon B equals to 3 upon 2, and which has been A upon B plus 1 equals to 3 upon 2 plus 1. So A plus B upon B equals to 5 upon 2. B upon A plus B is equals to 2 upon 5. So required percentage equals to B upon A plus B into 100%, which is equals to 2 upon 5 into 100. So 5 on the 5, 5 2s are 10 and 0 2 2s are 4 and 0, that is your 40%. So we'll get your answer will be the 40%, will be the right answer for this question as well. We'll go ahead for the next that we'll have to discuss here, which has been the another important question, of course, and that has been your the question we have is 144th question of the sessions here. Let's go ahead for the same. And before starting with that question, it's a huge request that those who had not go ahead for the subscribing our channel. You can just go ahead for the same. You will find it on each and every video there, and will be surely end up with this soon. Let's go ahead for this next question as your 144th question of the session. 144th question of the sessions here. So the question we have as follows is that is what we going to have to talk about it. There are many more questions that what we have to deal with it, and which is being important one as well. In the same cases, this has been here what we had discussed here, and I will go ahead for as I told you being 148, that is fourth question of the sessions here, that is the important one. So 144th question is being said is if x is 8%, 144th, if 8% of x equals to 4% of y, then 20% of x is, options we have 10% of y, 16% of y, 80% of y, none of these. And for the same we have to go ahead here, and that what we have to talk about it. So we'll go ahead for the solution here. 8% of x equals to 4% of y equals to 8 upon 100, x equals to 4 upon 100, y equals to x equals to 1 upon 2y. So 20% of x equals to 20% of 1 upon 2y, which is equals to 10% of y, that we have as an answer. Now we'll go ahead with the next, and hopefully that will be the last question of the sessions here, which is 145th question of the session. The question is, if 20% of A is equals to B and 40% of B is equals to C, then 60% of A plus B is. The options we have 30% of C, 60% of C, 75% of C, none of these. Let's go ahead for the same. If 20% of A equals to B and 40% of B equals to C, then 60% of A plus B we have. So with the same we have to find out here that what even that we have to talk about it. So here we go ahead, 20 upon 100 A equals to B and 40 upon 100 B equals to C. So 1 upon 5 A equals to B and 2 upon 5 B equals to C. So A equals to 5B and B equals to, that is for 5 by 2C, and A equals to 25 by 2C. So and B equals to 5 by 2C. So for the same, 60% of A plus B we have, which is being 60 upon 100, 25 upon 2C plus 5 by 2C, 16 to 15 upon 100C, 900 upon 100C, that has been equals to 900% of C. That we have your answer here, and that has been important here. Let's end up with this as well. That will discuss the rest of the question in the next coming class, and that we'll have to deal with 146th question of the sessions here. And the class that we have to deal with is your 73rd class of the sessions as well. So here we start ending it out with, before ending it off with quantitative aptitudes, it's a huge request to all the viewers to please go through with the subscribe button and please like, share and subscribe our channel, so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and you can also enjoy the video as well. Other than quantitative aptitude, we had on your sociology and software engineering, where we had on your chemistry as well. In that we had on unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, unit 5, unit 6, unit 7, unit 8, unit 9, as well as we had down logarithms, antilogs, elements, symbols and their atomic masses and molar masses questions as well. After talking about that, we had done your understanding the human being comprehensively, the human aspiration and its fulfillment, where we had done unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4 with their 2-mark possible question as well. After talking about that, we are dealing with the ER diagram, so this has been important for all of you. And after talking about that, we'll start discussing about computer-based numerical and statistical techniques that we have to discuss in the next few classes. In terms of reasoning, yes, we had done your reasoning here. We had done your verbal reasoning. In that, we had done your general mental ability and the logic reasoning. Non-verbal reasoning, we had done series and the logic classification, analytical reasoning, mirror image, water image, immediate figure, completion of incomplete pattern, figure matrix, paper folding, paper cutting, rule detection, grouping of identical figures, cubes and dice, dot situation, figure formation and analysis. And after completing that, we'll start discussing about the question paper that has been concluding the different types of question of verbal reasoning and non-verbal reasoning, which has been asked in your examination paper as well. After talking about that, coming towards quantitative aptitude, this has been divided into two, which has been the that is your arithmetical ability and the data interpretation. In arithmetical ability, we had done operations on numbers, LCM and SCF of numbers, decimal fractions, simplification, square roots and cube roots, averages, problems on numbers, problems on ages, hertz and indices, percentage, profit and loss, ratio and proportion, partnership, share rule, time and work, by consistent time and distance, problems on drain, boards and strain, allegations on mixture, simple interest, compound interest, logarithm, area, volume and surface area, races and games of skill, calendar, clocks, stocks, ratios, permutation and combination, probability to discount, bank of discount, hiding distance, odd man out series. In section 2, we have to cover up the data interpretation, where we have to cover up the tabulation, bar graph, pie charts and line graphs here. So here we'll be ending it up. It's a huge request to all the viewers to please go through with the subscribe button and please like, share and subscribe to our channel so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and over there you can also enjoy the video as well. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and give your suggestion on the comment box. Thank you.